Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. We're going to piggyback on the last video and talk about what is worth your time. Is reselling in general worth your time? That's what we talked about on the last one. But we're going to get more specific about certain items, and I don't ask people to agree with me. Matter of fact, I always ask people to chime in. But honestly, y'all, and we'll get to it in this video, there is something that is going to revolutionize. It already is. It's revolutionizing my business. It's going to revolutionize reselling, in my opinion, and I just can't keep the secret anymore. Let's go take a look. So I want to jump ahead in my sales here to make a few points. And one is going to be looking at it the old school way that I've done things forever. And I think those points are still valid. We'll talk about those. Whenever I do these, I've done videos for years, y'all. Can't get this open. There. And people have, a lot of people, not everybody, most people who still watch this show agree with me because that's why they're still watching. Because if you disagree with somebody all the time, why are you watching them? Anyway, I'm going to use this one in a second to make a point. But a lot of people have said, you know, why waste your time? It's not worth my time. That's not worth my time. Why do you list something under this dollar amount, whatever? There are huge changes going on. And if you've been watching this channel for quite a while, then at least the last few months, you've seen me undergo, or you're starting to see a change that we're doing in our business to accommodate live selling. But also the impetus for this was actually not live selling. It was to do something that I was so convinced when I started doing this just about a month and a half, 2 months ago, that I'm like, yeah, this is going to change everything that I do. But I want to look at the old argument for a second here, because I think arguments are going to change because of this. But even the old argument makes sense. For those of you who like to list small dollar things, you enjoy it, you know, what's worth it to one person isn't worth it to another. And yeah, I've always said, hey, if you're a doctor, lawyer, you're out there making so much money, or if you have a job, you're making $200,000 a year or something, and you're trying to make more money, yeah, then, you know, what is the opportunity cost to make $4 in 5 minutes, for instance? Is it really worth your time? And so I want to look at that, and I'm inviting arguments here and dialogue, as long as it's civil, down in the comments, and we'll get kind of a picture, and I'll just explain to you why I do what I do. So we're going to use this guy right here. I'll give you an example. I've been talking about Smurfs for a while, but I love PVCs, for instance, and you see these up here, and that one's cool. These right here are the batch. I listed these old school style. Didn't use listies or anything, old school style. Matter of fact, you remember I told you my daughter listed these, actually. Well, she made the drafts and I listed them. These were the ones she pulled out that are like, she's like, you know, these are probably worth $6, $7. I'm like, okay. And there's like 16 of them. I think we've already sold one. This one sold here for $5.95 plus shipping. But all of these were significantly higher, especially this one. It's like $45 or something. And I think we bought 2 bags full, not these little bags, big bags full of PVC. And there's a few more in there we haven't listed. We've sold some on Dibdit. We've sold 3, just 3 so far. And they were some of the better ones on eBay. And then we sold a few, resold raisins and some other stuff. I'm basically into these, all of them. If you individualize each one for maybe 50 to 70 cents. I never counted them all, but that's about the range that we're into them for. So even if you count these being into them for 50 to 70 cents, and selling it for $5.95, there's, you know, $3.50 profit, $4 profit, something like that, depending on how you do your shipping. And that's where I'm at. Oh, forgot to turn my phone off. That was a pretty cool phone call. But I'm going to tell that story on a different day, because I'm focused on this issue, because I love it. This is the kind of thing, you know, when I was a teacher, it was like, all right, this is how much money I make teaching. And then I would figure out how many hours I put into teaching and coaching. And the opportunity cost to be away from reselling was enormous for me, especially when I was coaching, because I made hardly anything. And so opportunity cost is different for every single person and their goals and desires, and it could be personal as well. You know, spending time with family, wanting to travel, you might have different financial situations. So there's not a right answer for this, but this is the way I look at it. Take it for what you will. I also bought some other things in that lot. I bought that, I think it was $60 for everything, and there's other stuff thrown in. I might have paid a little bit more for something else that I got. I can't really remember. But there was some other good stuff in there too that I haven't listed. But my daughter sat down and took these pictures and made the drafts, and then I just went through and put the prices, or checked her prices and did it. But if I were to do these on my own, and she did it in no time, and she didn't even know what she was doing. For me to do a listing like this guy right here is like a minute. I mean max. It just isn't very long, and you can just kind of just snap them all real quick, and you can do them many different ways. I like to take all the pictures and then go sit upstairs and do them. And for me, that's like a minute listing. And, you know, I'm going to say this took 5 minutes to do this item. It didn't. It absolutely didn't, because we had so many of the same size and whatever, and I just would duplicate stuff and steal different listings and sell similar. It was really, really quick. But let's just say the whole process of taking pictures, listing, and shipping takes 5 minutes. It's less than that. Here's the numbers. I'm going to make, after all the numbers are done, $4.25 net on this guy right here. These are going to make far more. Like this one's listed for 40 some dollars. I don't know, it's listed for 20 or something. 15, I don't quite remember, but you get the point. So at 5 minutes, you can do 12 of those in an hour total. That's the shipping, all of it. Like I said, it's really less than that. But, you know, you do ancillary stuff for reselling, so I pad that number a little bit. That's $51 an hour selling something for $5.95, assuming it all sells eventually, which I think all these will. So for me, that's well worth my time. I used to think $25 an hour. That was years ago. Inflation's kind of hit us, right? So 50 bucks an hour. That's the way I used to think about all of this. I still do in some cases, but there's something much, much bigger that has completely changed my mind, and we're going to get into that while we pick. We've been selling Harley belts for quite a long time. This is the last of the smalls of this particular type, and this one sold for $22.36 plus shipping. There's, of course, also the lotting up argument, and I use that often as well. When you look at that, and it's like, you know, how much stuff do you have to list that's maybe higher dollar kind of thing. So I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. For me, that's the way I think of all of this stuff. I'm curious to know what you think. All right, check it out. Here's Reagan in here doing some work. Do I pay you well? Mm-hmm. You better say yes. Reagan's in there working. Look, the boys are out here playing. Got a new net for wiffle ball. No foul balls. This was an awesome sale, y'all. I got a ton of stuff for 20 bucks at a sale. And this was in there. There was so much good stuff, y'all. It was amazing. This one sold for 50 bucks right there, plus shipping. Y'all, I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry today. Get your treats and go play with the boys. So about 2 months ago, I did these hats using Eeasier back here. And I told you about those. We've now sold 20. There's one right here. That sold 22 of these, 22 of those hats, 21 of those hats, and they have sold at a higher clip. And the speed of listing, even though it was my very first batch using it, was insane. I'm going to show you what I did today, because y'all, I just listed 74 items today. If you take out the time it took me to take the pictures for them, which is, they were magazines. Take a picture, turn it over, take a picture, take a picture, turn it over, take a picture. If you take out that time, which I didn't time, it took me 9 minutes to list, and I'm slow. Really should have taken me about 4. And they're not high dollar, and that's kind of my point. The high dollar part is not as relevant to me as it used to be if the items are correct. Meaning storage, meaning speed, meaning low return rate or no return rate. We're going to get into that. And I'm going to talk about Eeasier a little bit. And that there are also some, well, let me tell you this one. This is a Rode 16, iPhone 16 with the lip balm, lip gloss, whatever it is in it. That one didn't sell for as much as the other ones. It sold for $14.24 plus shipping. So I'll just be very frank right here and very open. When I started to see all these AI listers and stuff, I'm like, the cost is ridiculous. And I just put it on pause, all of it. Just kind of waited to see where this whole thing was going to shake out. And it was pretty clear to me where it was going to shake out. And I think it's proven to be correct. A lot of you have heard a lot about all these things. And at this point, I just can't not say this. And I know I have an affiliate link. I have a code Commonwealth and all that stuff too. So it may not come off as, you know, as somebody trying to sell something. But I got to be honest. This has already changed. For the folks who've already used this link and signed up, the feedback is overwhelmingly positive. And for the ones that aren't, there's specific issues why. There's been some concerns from the get-go when I talked about this. A lot of people are like, well, there's no price. You still got to go on and pick the price and stuff. That is even changing. There's going to be price recommendations that are built in that are actually good. And, you know, INAD stuff. All these concerns have flown out the window at this point, and there's going to be 2 more major improvements. And what I've been talking about for a while, which is to lower this tier thing where you don't have to get 1,000 of them in a month. Because a lot of people are like, I'll never list 1,000. Well, let me tell you, I listed 74 in 8 minutes. That can go very, very quickly depending on how much you source and stuff. But that number's coming down too. All this stuff is changing. And I just don't want to be, you know, looking back 2-3 months from now and say, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because that's where we're at with this. And I'll take you in and just show you exactly what I did today. And these aren't high dollar things. I bought them specifically for this because this is what it works best with now. But honestly, it's starting to work with so much more. And I'm super excited about this. There are some negative ramifications for it. If you look kind of macro sense over this whole reselling thing, but they don't even come close to outweighing the positives, at least for me. And I'm to the point now with my little 6-week process here that I'm starting to ramp this up. It'll go slow, but it's going to be a huge part of my business, and it will change the dynamic of the items, the price points that I'm willing to list. And it will probably even change almost how I price things. And it's going to have to change storage. It's going to have to change everything. And I've been planning on that and doing things to make that work for me in the last few weeks. All right, I will save a lot of this for the end of the video. So, you know, a lot of people just like to watch the what's sold, but I'm going to give you a little kind of example. Look at what I did in there with this particular thing here in a little bit. And I'll just say that my code is code Commonwealth. Get you $30 off the current plans at $1,000 a month, which is 7 cents a listing. It's far cheaper than all these other folks who have come out. It's not even close, and it's a far better service. And listen, y'all, if you know me, if you've been watching me for a while, I don't give full-throated endorsements like that unless I believe it. I think this is the right one. Barbie. I've been buying things that I've never bought before. I mean, you know, look, you can sell these, right? They're not huge high-dollar stuff. 2 different Barbie ones in here. This isn't even the right one. Hold on. There. I found the right one for this. And those 2 sold for $14.24 plus shipping. And listen, y'all, you are going to be hearing more and more about this. Not just for me. You're going to see other people. Some of you already have. Some of you signed up. Some of you are like, holy moly. Anyway, $14.24 plus shipping for that. And I always encourage people to take their time, figure out their model, figure out how they want to do this thing. But there's going to be a lot of people, especially with these 2 new changes coming. The app is coming. All this stuff is super exciting to me. I would love to use an app. It would be really cool. But right now I don't even care. I didn't use an app today, and I haven't done 74 listings in a day and maybe ever. And I did it in less than 10 minutes. So anyway, it's all very interesting, but my point is just saying, hey, every video I have, that link's going to be below. You can go through it. You can use I'm the only one with a code. Thank goodness. I don't know why, but I'm fortunate in that case. It's flattering, and I know it's because of you, not me. And it's a $30 off code Commonwealth. But remember, whenever you hear about it, whatever, come back or go to CommonwealthPicker.com. That link will be over there. You can always use that. And as plans change, you can check those out because it may not fit you. Some people just, even if they could list 1,000, they wouldn't, right? And so I realize all that stuff as well, but that link will always be there if you need it. My light is out in here where I keep most of my clothes. My jerseys were back there, so I figured I'd bring it in here and show you. And this is a Gronkowski jersey. It did not sell for what I thought it would, but it did sell on 45% off, or excuse me, 30% off for $45 and change. Plus shipping, I believe I paid $15 for it. Talking about not worth your time, and I do believe that is changing for a lot of folks. It won't change for everybody, for sure. But these people, people have been telling me for years, not worth your time. And that is on board game pieces. Look at that, it's right there. These didn't take long at all to sell. Just a Parcheesi game. If it's complete, I'll buy it and I'll just take the pieces out of it. Sometimes I stack up board games, Scrabble board games or whatever, and I just keep the boards and I sell them in a lot because people create game rooms and they frame all the boards like you got right here and use it in a game room, but I've kind of stopped doing that. But these sold for $14 plus shipping. So $1 into $14 plus shipping. Super easy. Somebody's out there looking for them. They make their own Parcheesi game board or something out of wood, and they want the pieces. So, pretty cool. Keep selling these road things. It's crazy. I bought them thinking, oh, I'm just going to do these on List Easier, and I decided to list them beforehand because they were so good. I got to find the 16 Pro Salty Tan right there on the top. 2 in a row right on the top. And this one sold for $24.95 plus shipping. So we've been in the pure profit already on these, which is amazing. This turned out to be just an incredible buy. I have no idea why this guy had them. but he had no idea what he had either. They were his daughters. She must have had a business or something, and he was selling it off. $24.95 plus ship. That must have been a popular one because another one sold. I'm going to grab that as I'm on my way to pick up something. I'm kind of sad as leaving, to be honest with you, but I'm still happy I'm making the money. All right, it should be. It's a 16 Pro, so that's not... I'm a little confused because they should all be in bags like that. Let me look. All right, I figured it out. One is a Pro and one is a Pro Max. I'll have to come back and get that plush that's sold. So that makes sense. That one sold. They're both sold for $24.95 plus shipping. This one right here is just, I love it. I have to take this out. I can't believe the Captain EO hadn't sold yet. This ET right here, giant ET, used to be on display over here, but I change the displays out every once in a while. This one, press me, sold for $100. Actually, it sold for $99 plus shipping. Gotta love that right there. And I have to say this because there are, before I go in and show you this, there are some things it still has some difficulty with for sure, but the benefits are so enormous right now that I think early adoption is going to give people a huge advantage. If nothing else, just figuring out what it is amazing at. And it is definitely, really as of today, becoming, I mean, we've done experiments, but becoming a huge part of our business. So, Tommy Hilfiger, these are, I don't know if these are new or not. I guess they are. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for more. I picked them up at a sale. I think I paid $5 for them. And they sold perfect time of year, 35 plus shipping. The comps on these I figured would be better, but I'll take 35 plus shipping. I've never had to go to my car to get something that's sold, but this time I do. Who's winning? Turner's winning. I'll go up to my car and get it, and then I'll tell you the story of why I'm going to my car. I have no idea why there's a Coors Light box here. I don't drink Coors Light, but maybe it came out of one of the lots I bought. All right, so you can see it's a bit of a mess here. I went to garage sales on Saturday morning, and then Turner had a tournament 2 hours away. And so I emptied the truck, but I kept some things in it, or grabbed a few things that I could list at his game because I had nothing in drafts at the time. And which one sold? Yeah, let me just take it. It's this one that sold. I'll take it inside. It's got to go in there anyways. So, you know, when you're sitting in between games, it's like, man, I'm just sitting here wasting time, waiting for the next game. So I threw these in there. It's actually my intention to take buys like this that I get and just store them in a bin until I have like 100 of them, and then let Eeasier do it because it's just so fast. But since I didn't have anything in drafts, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to get this done. This one actually is worth some decent money, but it has some issues. It has some cover art issues and some stuff. And I was away listing it, so I didn't even clean out the edges. I'm like, just list the thing for a good price. And I did list it for a good price, and that's why it sold $8.99 plus shipping. All right, my AC's on in here, so it's kind of loud, but I had to get this out. This is American Girl bunk bed, sold for $50 plus shipping. But since I'm in here, figured I'd show you this. So this is what took us like 8 minutes today, other than taking the pictures, which you can imagine, you know, take a picture, flip it, take a picture, flip it. And so that takes a little bit of time. And then we listed them all. I did this a little different. I didn't individually comp the prices for it. I found an average and put it out there. I think a lot of them will sell at this price that we put it out there for because they're underpriced. Some are overpriced slightly, and we'll just drop the price over time. But there's, I don't know, $700 in listings or something. I'm not quite sure. 800, 400, 600, something like that. I think it's 700-ish in listings. Done like that. Not a high sell-through rate. Easy to store. And this is one we decided. There was a few issues because of these stickers over some of these, but it was very few. Something we took care of quickly. And I don't know how to describe it, but to be able to have, you know, $600-700 in listings like that was amazing. Now that is kind of a low sell-through rate-ish type item, so you're not going to see those flying off the shelves. But like I said, the hat one we did, we've sold over half of them already. So we sold 3 games here. These aren't high-end games. ESPN 2K5, 2K6, and whatever the other one is. 2K something, who knows. 06, NBA Live. And that one, these sold collectively 30% off, $13.96 for those plus shipping. Last few weeks out there picking, I've been super excited because I've just expanded what I'm doing. I was buying in bulk. I was looking out for bulk buys. I bought these thinking I would use that, but I wasn't quite ready, and I listed some anyways. And I kept a lot of the Walking Dead stuff new in the package to put on Dibbed It. But these two, I think this is the third thing we've sold. After we sell 4 or 5 of those, we'll be break even. And we had, I don't know, 50. Yeah, there's a bunch. At any rate, this is Michonne. I don't know. I never watched Walking Dead. They both sold together. Somebody bought 2 of these. And they sold for $39.90 plus shipping. And talk about a slow seller here. This next one, it's been, I hope it's still there. I put it up there because it's, well, I'll let you see it. But we've had this one for over a year at this point listed, waiting for the right buyer. And they finally got it, but I'm going to have to get this ladder. I keep a lot of my shipping supplies. Shout out American Bubble Boy. Code Commonwealth for tape. Link down below. And I bought my extra for Q4. We're selling everything like crazy. And my rickety old ladder, I'm hoping it is, where is it? There it is, right there. All right, I'm up here now. This is the only space I have. We've got all kinds of stuff up here. At any rate, I guess I didn't have to do it this way, but I'll show it to you right here. At least half of the king right here, Kyle Petty, Richard Petty. This thing sold for, I think, around 105 bucks plus shipping. All right, you can see it folds out. This is this a third of it or half of it? It's half of it. Got a little fold out. These aren't that hard to ship, y'all. You just got to find a giant box, cut it down, not just cut it down, but just take the size of the box and make it match this. Put a little extra cardboard for reinforcement so it's not flopping around all the time, and it's just a giant envelope is all it is. I just got to find the right amount. Oh, look at that. Look at that thing. Right there, that's a gift returner for Christmas. He doesn't know it, don't tell him. But we might cut that one up and it might work. Another one of these sold for $24.95. I gotta find it. I didn't remember this one. 16 Pro Max. And that is not it. Is this it? 16 Pro Max. It says Unscented Sans Parfum. $24.95 plus shipping. This was one of our best buys. Not just this, but there was multi-quantity. There was 5 of these particular styles, or colors and sizes, but we had different colors, different sizes. I can't remember how many, but they were $1 a piece, y'all. Yamaha Factory Racing. This one sold for $38.95. I think this is the only style we've listed in size. We have a bunch of them out there. I need to get them listed. For sure, $38.95 plus shipping. Y'all just don't know what to do with yourself today, do you? Sold a Texans hat. It is football season, and football hats sell. I'm gonna grab it out of here. But I have had these for a while, and they have not sold. But this one did. Well, some of them have sold. There's 10 of it. No, I don't know how many were. They're all out. Whatever there were, this is the last one. $12.57 plus shipping. Next one was a pleasant surprise in the Filipino flip. And we still have so much of that, y'all. Here is, well, I'll show you what it is. First, it says X-Force 2 Keepsake Collection, original autographed artwork by Rob Liefeld, which is in this little thing, and it's still sealed. And that one sold for 30 bucks plus shipping. Brings our total for the Filipino flip to $2,209 so far. All right, I can do a few more, but I think I'm going to stop here today because we're going to do something as a family later this afternoon, and I got to get ready. So, anyway, thank y'all. You guys are amazing. Don't forget that link is always down there. I don't want to ever feel pushy on here, but when it comes to reselling, and if it's a topic like this, I will certainly share my experience. And if I have been given a link that gives somebody a discount, I am definitely going to put it out there. I make a little bit of money from it too. And you can always, it's a $30 off now. I don't know when those other plans are coming out, but from what I'm hearing, talking to some folks, it's really right around the corner. And honestly, if you're listing 300 things a month right now, it's well worth it at this point, because that number will drastically increase. It might change what you buy and how you buy. It may not be for everybody, but it is definitely going to become a part of my business, and we'll still do things traditionally for some items because it makes sense, especially if you're going to do the research and stuff and whatever, but on one-off type stuff. But I'm just super excited about it, and that link is always down there. Thank y'all for joining us. Always let me know what you think of everything I say. I'm not afraid to put my ideas out there and in the furnace and see if they survive, because a lot of you guys know what you're doing way better than I do, and I appreciate all the input I always get. I just ask that you do it nicely. I try to do it nicely most of the time. So hopefully you guys are having a wonderful beginning to your fall, and I appreciate you stopping by, and I can't wait to see you next.